Hello and welcome to another video in the series about doing an at-home audition. In this part of the video, we're actually going to talk about in detail which type of dynamic and condenser microphones you might want to choose if you are doing an at-home video audition for some kind of all-state level playing or some kind of college audition or something like that. So we have just talked that there are two types of microphones. You have your dynamics and your condenser microphones, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more information about the dynamics first. First of all, you probably do not want to buy a budget level dynamic microphone. You're going to be sorry. Just go ahead and know that you're going to pony up at least $100, which is much cheaper than buying a good condenser mic. So this microphone is the Shure SM57. As I talked about earlier, it is the standard for instrumental recording as far as dynamic mic goes. A live setting, you'll see tons of players play on these microphones. They can handle just about anything. The SM57 looks like this and is designed for instruments. The SM58 kind of has a larger basket on top and is designed for vocals. So both of those are good mid-level dynamic microphones. Honestly, it's probably one of the best-selling microphones that has ever existed on the market. There are some cool things you can do to change this from a cardioid pickup pattern to omni, like covering this little venting area down here where the basket meets the hardware. We'll actually turn this into an omnidirectional microphone, which is kind of cool if you need to do something like that. But your standard will be cardioid. It'll accept sound from the front, and it's really good for recording. A Telefunken M80 is another good option. That's closer to the $250 mark. But if you want to buy a microphone in your school colors, there you go. Telefunken M80, very durable, very good microphone. If you want to go for a top quality dynamic microphone, about $1,000 is the most you can possibly spend on a dynamic microphone, though I'm not sure that you would ever really need to do that. This is a Shure SM7B that I've been talking on most of the time during these videos. The Shure SM7B, same microphone that Michael Jackson recorded Thriller on. It is a fantastic piece of equipment. I highly recommend it. It is what I would definitely call a top quality dynamic microphone. I would recommend the use of this microphone with what is called a cloud lifter. You can click the link in the presentation to be able to find the cloud lifter. It turns phantom power into a gain boost of sorts, so it really helps your equipment be able to power the microphone as good as it possibly can. The other options is a Neumann BCM 705 or Sennheiser MD441U. These are both dynamic mics. However, I think something like the Shure SM7B would be about the most money that you would possibly want to spend on a dynamic microphone for one of these kind of audition videos. Now, condenser microphones run a little bit differently. The condenser microphones are more expensive. Remember, you need to choose between large diaphragm, more for vocals and instruments too, or a small diaphragm. This is more exclusively instruments in their design and what they are sound best with. A budget level condenser microphone like this SE brand X1S this one comes with some accessories to help you improve your recording environment for sure. It's a very good option, or you could go with the Rode NT1A. The Blue brand Bluebird, which is a little bit of a bright microphone, but could definitely be good for these type of recordings. An Audio-Technica AT4040 or the SE brand SE8, which is the small diaphragm, I said was good for instruments only. Those are all between $200 and $300. Very good microphones, very reliable microphones. In the mid-level, the $300 to $500 range, you can get the AKG C214. You get to choose whether you want the instrumental model or the vocal model. The Shure SM81 is another small diaphragm condenser, but used for instruments only. The SE2300 and the SE4400 are both really good microphones. The 4400 has lots of polar pattern options depending on what room you're in, or the Audio-Technica AT4033. And then if you really want to go and break the bank and go into the top quality microphones, you're looking at all of these being roughly $1,000 or higher. The AKG C414, again, you get to pick an instrument or a vocal model. We have actually built a microphone here at my school, and this is a copy kind of an AKG C414. Very nice sounding microphone, very clear, lots of clarity there. The Neumann KM184 is a small diaphragm, and then the other Neumann and Telefunken options will run you anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. So just know that there are expensive microphones out there. You can choose what is going to work best for your environment. Now, I really have to drive this point home. Both devices, audio interfaces, have gain control. And we need to understand the difference between gain control and volume, because each of these microphones that I've just demonstrated to you is going to require some kind of gain. But gain and volume are two different things. And we really have to perceive gain and volume carefully so that things are accurate when we go to make a recording. So gain is the control of the microphone's sensitivity, or you could think of that as how much area the microphone picks up well. So gain control on this audio interface, we said, is these two knobs. You can have them turned all the way up, or you can have them turned all the way down. So you have to balance where that position is. Now, the next switch down here is for phantom power. A dynamic mic does not require phantom power, but a condenser mic will have to have phantom power. And if you don't have the phantom power turned on, you will not get any sound. So you have to make sure that you have that accurately set for which type of microphone you set. Now, the starting point for the gain on a condenser is probably about 12 o'clock, whereas a dynamic microphone will need a little bit more, probably starting in the 2 to 3 o'clock range, just as a starting point. You will have to adjust this, and I recommend that you adjust this based on your loudest point of playing. Wherever your loudest point of playing is, you need to adjust this and make sure that the volume level is not peaking out on whatever device you're recording into. So you don't want to max the volume out all the time, because that will distort. So you have to be really careful with where you set this gain knob, and it's one of the crucial parts to getting a good recording. So think of gain as the microphone's sensitivity. The gain is controlling the front end of the signal flow. It determines how much magnification of the signal is actually performed by the preamp. Too much gain results in distortion. Too little gain results in a sound that's thin and soft. Whereas volume is the final output control. That's the button on your cell phone on the side. The quality does not change based on a change in volume, just your perception of how loud it is. The quality will change when you think of changing gain. So just think of volume as the plus or minus at the final end of your signal. So I'm going to actually swap out microphones right quick. Okay, so now I have attached a nice condenser microphone to my computer. This is one that my students built, and it's kind of a copy of a AKG C414. So I want to do a little bit of gain demonstration to conclude this section's video. So right now my gain is at about 12 o'clock. I'm talking into the microphone. I'm getting a pretty good signal level I can see in my program. There's distance here. I'm not right up on it because that would get really loud, and I'm not too far away because it would begin to get thin. So I'm at a good average distance from the microphone. You can easily hear the bell in my school that's just ringing. So I'm going to turn the gain pretty much all the way down, and then I'm going to scream. Now, you probably were able to hear that scream in the recording, and that was pretty loud on this end, I must say. So, as you heard that, it was probably pretty soft. It was a loud sound source with very little gain, but you perceived it at a low volume. So that was too little gain. I'm going to turn up the gain to its highest point. And right now I'm whispering, but I'm going to walk away from the microphone to about a point of 12, 15 feet, and I'm going to keep talking. And as I walk away, I'm going to allow my voice to come up just a little bit to more a normal speaking voice. But at this point, I'm probably 12 to 15 feet away from the microphone. And you're still able to hear me without too much difficulty because the gain level is so high. So I'm going to turn the gain volume back down. Now that the gain volume is back to more a normal point, you are able to still hear my voice pretty clearly, and the microphone is doing its job and gain has adjusted. So using your audio interface to get the right gain is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So the gain is always going to be the knobs that come on the front of your audio interface nearest your inputs. They'll be labeled very clearly with a number that corresponds to its input. So make sure you have the gain setting accurate before you get into a recording. If you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. If you liked it, go ahead and subscribe, and there will be more to come.